Ever notice how two stock tools can look identical until you realize that one could help you grow your portfolio and the other just looks pretty? That's what happened when I tested Qualtrim versus Seeking Alpha. On paper, they seemed similar, but after digging in, I found a major difference that most investors, I think, completely miss. So stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know which one actually helps you invest smarter and why. So whenever I'm testing platforms like this, I never just rely on my own experience. I always go digging through real trader reviews, the good, the bad, and especially the ugly. And the one thing I learned early on is that one-star reviews can tell you more than the marketing page ever will, so I went straight there to look at those. There's this Seeking Alpha review that caught my eye there. It was from a user who claimed that the platform allowed biased political commentary, especially against the president and Elon Musk. Basically, he felt like the stock analysis was getting hijacked by some politics. Now, I'll be honest, when I first read that, that raised an eyebrow, but Seeking Alpha actually responded here and explained that they do encourage civil, fact-based discussions and try to keep the focus on investment insights. They even invited him to flag any posts that he felt were off. To me, that seems like a process that inspires and builds trust. No platform can completely control what contributors write in their articles, but how they respond to it, that tells you everything about it. And let's be real, you're always going to find the occasional off comment in any user-generated community. If you don't like it, that's okay. I've spent years in investment forums. Trust me, it happens everywhere. There's always something that you don't like here, and you can report it if you don't like it. But on the flip side, a ton of users actually swear by Seeking Alpha, and I think that's for a good reason. One guy said his account returned 56% in a year just from following their Alpha Picks service. So that's a really insane return. And I know what you're thinking. Was he just lucky? Maybe. But another investor who's been using it for over 2 years said he literally can't run his dividend portfolio without it. And I can get that. I've used the same service for my own investments, and while it didn't exactly hit 56%, I saw results that made the cost of subscription feel like nothing in comparison. Now, compare that to what I found in the Qualtrim reviews. Look, I'll be fair here. It is a newer platform, and the user base is still growing, so naturally there aren't a ton of reviews yet. But is Qualtrim worth it? Well, I came across a few users that mentioned that they liked the clean interface and advanced watch lists, which I agree with. It's pretty slick. But others felt that it just didn't go deep enough, and honestly, that was also my biggest issue. So while both have their place, I think Seeking Alpha feels more complete. So is Seeking Alpha worth it? Let's get into what really matters here, and that's the features, because this is where Seeking Alpha completely changes the game for me. So I want to start with the ETF screener. This thing is not just a tool, it's a shortcut to clarity about your ETFs. I've used a bunch of ETF screeners before, but none felt as tuned to real investor strategies as this one. You can filter for dividend yield, volatility, sector, valuation, you name it. It's perfect if you're building more of a passive income portfolio, or if you want exposure to specific macro trends without picking individual stocks. And then there's the portfolio tracker. This is the part of Seeking Alpha that I honestly didn't know I needed until I used it. It connects directly with your brokerage accounts. I linked mine to Fidelity and Robinhood, and within minutes, I had a full visual of my entire portfolio across platforms with ratings, alerts, and valuation breakdowns. What makes this special, though, is I think the built-in rating system. You get 3 different viewpoints: quant ratings based on algorithmic models, SA analyst ratings from in-house analysts, and sell-side ratings from Wall Street firms. So seeing them side by side gives you a kind of triangulation, like if all 3 of them say buy, I'll pay attention. And the quant rating drill down, this one is one of my favorite features. It doesn't just say buy or sell, it breaks down why, like how strong the growth numbers are, whether profitability is improving, and what the earnings revisions look like. And I love that I can set alerts for any rating changes. So if one of my stocks gets downgraded or upgraded, I know right away. One more thing I didn't expect to like as much as I did is the virtual analyst reports. These are actually AI-generated summaries of stock research, but they read like something a real analyst would write. They cover the business model, the competition, the bull case, the bear case, all in a tight, readable format, perfect for busy days when I want a quick generated overview. And if you're a fan of earnings calls, but hate listening to the whole hour, Seeking Alpha's earnings call insights condense them into basically bullet-sized takeaways. I've used that feature after every big earnings session to stay ahead. I'm not going to listen to the entire hour, 2 hours of calls. It's much easier to see that information condensed in a readable format. Now, let's talk about community, because this is where Seeking Alpha really outshines Qualtrim Insights. Seeking Alpha is not just a platform, it's a conversation. Thousands of contributors publish daily, and the comment section under those posts are also gold. I've picked up insights from users with 20 plus years of market experience just by scrolling through discussions, reading comments, seeing what people have to say. Even the chat rooms in SA's investing groups give you direct access to real-time debates, trade ideas, and direct feedback from people who are actually in the market every day. I've been part of 2 different groups, and the value I've gotten from chatting with other investors is something I never found in Qualtrim. And don't get me wrong, the Qualtrim app does have some clean watch lists and screening tools, but it kind of ends there. There's no real dialogue, no layer of human experience on top of the data. I also tested the portfolio linking security feature on both platforms. Seeking Alpha integrates with major brokers through partners like Plaid and Snaptrade, which are used by apps like Venmo and Coinbase. Everything's encrypted end-to-end. I've used it for months, and I haven't once worried about my data. But hey, nothing's perfect, right? Sure, Seeking Alpha wouldn't be an exception to that, so there are maybe a couple things that I could point out. If I had to see any kind of flaw with Seeking Alpha, I'd say the learning curve can be a bit steep when you first join. There's kind of a lot going on: ratings, articles, alerts, quant models, portfolios. I remember logging in for the first time and thinking, okay, where do I start? But honestly, that can be a good problem to have, because once you learn the layout, it starts to click. And when you realize just how powerful it is, you'll start to stay on it more. And if you ever get stuck, their support and help docs are actually helpful, so you can learn plenty from that. I've contacted support twice, and both times they replied really quickly and solved whatever issue I had at the time. And now, when it comes to cost, Seeking Alpha subscription isn't the cheapest option out there, and I don't think it should be. You're not paying for flashy charts or gimmicks. You're paying for direct insight, convenience, and tools, all of which can literally change how you invest. If you're a casual investor who checks their portfolio once a month, it might feel a bit like overkill, but if you're actively researching, rebalancing, or even just trying to get better at stock picking, it's worth every penny. Check the link in the description of this video to check the current pricing and take advantage of any promos or discounts that they're running. We try to keep it updated for you. So, if you're still stuck choosing between Seeking Alpha versus Qualtrim, here's my honest take. Qualtrim looks good on the surface, but Seeking Alpha is what actually delivers here. Qualtrim looks clean, but Seeking Alpha is where the real substance is. It's where all the depth and insight really lies. It's the tool I actually trust to guide my investing, not just to track what I've already invested in and see on some flashy dashboards. So check the link in the description of this video to get started with our special discount and coupon.